You ever wondered if God is actually preparing you for a breakthrough, but you're missing the signs? Today, I'm going to give you three signs that God's preparing you for a breakthrough. And I need you to stay with me to the end because the third sign is the one that most people overlook. It might be the exact reason that you've been questioning what God is doing in your life right now. So let's get into it. The first sign that God is preparing you for a breakthrough is that you're under pressure. Now, I know it sounds backwards. Most of us think that breakthrough should feel exciting and peaceful, obvious, but throughout scripture, God often uses pressure before promotion. Think about Joseph, right? Before the palace, he was in the pit. Think about David, before he came to the throne, he was in the wilderness. And think about Jesus. Before the resurrection came the cross. Pressure really has this way of revealing what's inside of us. It exposes fear, insecurities, doubts, areas where God is still wanting us to grow. The pressure that you're feeling might not actually be the proof that God abandoned you. It might be the proof that God is preparing you. Now, the second sign that God's preparing you for a breakthrough is that He is removing things from your life. This one can be painful, right? Maybe it's a relationship that changed. Maybe it's a closed door. Maybe it's an opportunity that disappeared. Maybe something you thought would last suddenly didn't, right? Jesus said in John 15, God prunes the branches that are already producing fruit so that it becomes even more fruitful. Think about that. Pruning isn't punishment, it's preparation. Sometimes God removes what is good so He can make room for what is greater. The difficult part is that while you're being pruned, it can feel like you're losing, but God sees what you cannot, right? He's preparing space for what comes next. Now, before I give you the third sign, let me ask you a question. Have you been praying for a breakthrough while simultaneously resisting change? Because that leads us directly into sign number three. The third sign that God's preparing you for a breakthrough is God is asking for obedience before you see the results. And that's where a lot of people quit. Joshua and the Israelites, they marched around Jericho for days before the walls fell. Imagine how strange that looked if there were no cracks, there was no movement, no evidence, just obedience. And sometimes God asks us to take a step before He shows us the outcome. Maybe He's asking you to forgive. Maybe He's asking you to take that step of faith. Maybe He's asking you to keep going when you don't see any of the results. Right? Breakthrough a lot of the times follows obedience. And not because obedience earns God's blessings, but because the obedience, it actually positions us to receive what He's already prepared. So if you're feeling pressure, if you're experiencing pruning, and if God is calling you to obedience before you see the results, don't lose heart. Those are probably not signs that God has forgotten about you. They're signs that the breakthrough is actually closer than you think. Well, if this message encouraged you today, I would love it for you to become part of the team. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, join us in this growing community of people who are learning how to live out their faith every single day. And you know what? While you're at it, drop the word breakthrough in the comments if you're trusting God for something in this season. Until next time, Coach Dombrowski out. I'll be praying for you.